Love created me like itself, and love holds no grievances. So it's always a pretty interesting thing as you're really getting more in depth with this and really trying to grasp what it means to be in the sense of love created me like itself, and just that whole concept. Most likely you're misunderstanding what this is still, because you're probably trying to be something you're not. Now this is where the distortion is and gets into the love holds no grievances. But in the sense, when you think you're not love and think you're actually, say, hate or fear or something that love is not, you're misunderstanding what love is. So yes, you have a concept of what love is, as in being, a specific, say, compassionate, even have a loving individual, right? So yes, that is a beautiful, wonderful thing. It is to be compassionate in society and to be a saint among loving saints, right? This is a distortion and misunderstanding of what love is. Yes, that is loving, that is beautiful. I would refer to it as compassion, opposed to actually what love actually is. So love is what you are anyway, no matter what is going on in your experience. So this, referring back even to the last lesson review, was about authenticity. That this is actually about authenticity. That you and what you are naturally is love. So even though you might be in this distortion universe, might be misunderstanding what reality actually is, what you still remain to be is love. So the fact that you think you're wrong at any time, if you ever think that you're not being loving, that's the distortion. That's the misunderstanding. You're caught up in a universe that you think is real of illusion, and yet you never can be anything but what you are as love. You can't be anything besides love. So you don't want to misunderstand. Yes, caught up in emotions and you have emotional responses, that actually gets into a different subject. Those are all derivatives of how you are judging what is occurring in your life. Okay? Now that gets into that grievances idea. That you can't see and recognize yourself as love and what love is. You can't see even the world of the transparent, illuminated reality if you're holding grievances and resentments of any kind. If you're saying somehow, I mean, it really doesn't matter what you're saying, because if you can't see the transparent, illuminated reality, you can't see and know yourself as you actually are. It goes hand in hand. We so often, including myself, think we can understand and remember who we are and still see physical reality. You can have a glimpse, you can have an idea, you can understand it a bit and still see physical reality, but you're still obsessed with resentments and grievances. It literally goes hand in hand. Resentments and grievances is the illusion, and it looks physical. So you can't see God, you can't see and understand what reality actually is. And so I love that beautiful statement is, my Creator did not create this as I see it. That's very crucial. As I see it. That is in the establishment of physical reality, which is only there with the idea of separation, resentments and grievances and upsets and so on. So these ideas of separation make it seem physical. And so it's stuck in this distortion reality. No, my Creator did not create this as I see it, but it did create this as it actually is. So often that we get caught up in A Course in Miracles thinking about what the illusion is. Oh, my Creator didn't create this, so it doesn't exist. Like literally, nothing there exists. Like we're looking at literally nothing. And that's a misunderstanding. And as we get along later in the Course, a very crucial lesson is that there is a world beyond this one that I want. And that is something that about these resentments and grievances is that you can't see what is actually there, say the world as God intended it for you to experience. Because of this, say, knowledge of good and evil, this ability to judge has made it seem physical. And that's what we're attempting to get past. Through all this forgiveness practice is getting past the ability to judge between good and evil, right and wrong. That is literally the mechanism of distortion. It is the ego in which makes it possible to see the world as physical and you to, say, die. But the spiritual universe is what is continuously going on in and out of all physical reality. So as this consciousness is experiencing both of those, it is still in that same respect being completely focused all the time. So that gets into another story, but another subject. But in this sense of recognizing what grievance is, understand that grievances are literally only held by a consciousness. That consciousness has ideas and thoughts about itself and what it judges as real and reality. That is a consciousness aspect. Just like the body is a wholly neutral thing and can't judge. It can't do anything on its own. In the same way as your spirit body, neutral, and really has no experience if there's no conscious direction. Consciousness is directing this. So as you have chosen in consciousness, knowledge is not in a body, knowledge is not in a spirit, knowledge is in consciousness. So that's an alternate dimension of what these three mind, body, spirit things are. So consciousness is where knowledge resides all the time. Knowledge of good and evil. Okay? And that's where the ability to judge is available. So that's why forgiveness is done in your own mind, in your own experience, in order to then see beyond or see the world as it actually is. So resentments and grievances distort and hide your reality, the world's reality, and God from you. So it's so easy to misunderstand this because we always think we're judging other people. We're always judging ourselves. Always judging ourselves. And that literally the other people are ourselves. And so yes, we're judging other people, but we're forgiving them in the same way as we're forgiving ourselves at that same moment, right? So in that whole respect, when you say, this is not a justification to deny myself. I will not use this to attack love. What is all of that referring to? Remember, it's not about the compassionate aspect of emotions. This is about authenticity. Are you going to stay real? Now, of course, what that definition of being real evolves over your experience as you are healing. What would be more real every single time you choose to be authentic and honest, even though it might be still in the lie, is a step towards being more authentic and real. So you're doing a great job, regardless if it's still screaming in someone's face, being authentic. I gotta be me, I gotta speak my mind. And that's fine. You're going closer regardless. But in the same sense, as we get into defenselessness and talking about that, the whole experience, it gets a little tricky. But recognize that authentically being love is also compassionate, but it's also everything. It's always been everything.